Alright everyone, welcome to, hopefully anyway, the last recording session of Digital Devil Saga 1. Now why do I say hopefully? Because we're about to take on the super boss of this game, the fabled super boss, which everyone is afraid of. So what's the name? I've grown it up quite a bit. To the end of most characters' levels. Heat is still level 98. Granted, I'm not really going to be using him or Argila for this fight. So yeah, I just grinded everyone's stats, or not the stats, just them to level 99. Surf has his vitality magic and luck maxed out. Gale is, he has low luck, which is kind of unfortunate for this fight. Cialo's luck is still pretty good though, and agility is pretty good. And his strength is the only weakness, but we're not really going to be using any strength focused attacks, so. And then, what's the name? In terms of the spells, I'll go over these soon. Anyway, what's the name? What do you say we go straight to the super boss of Digital Devil Saga 1. Now, if you've never heard of this super boss, it is often regarded as the hardest, or if not one of the hardest bosses in JRPG history. Yeah, and this is the same series that has, what's the name? Boss fights with Elizabeth, with Margaret, with the twins, you know, the Persona super boss, with Philemon. Philemon's ridiculous in Eternal Punishment. What else you got? You know, you got, well, the Persona series, really, the bosses that are considered what am I trying to say? The Persona series is really the series with super tough super bosses, but Digital Devil Saga, both 1 and 2, wanted a slice of that pie. So anyway, let's go right in. In fact, well, actually, hold on. If you look at my spells, you might see, you know, they look decent, but where's the good spells like Null Attack, or, you know, Null Element, Null Element, all that sort of stuff? Where are they, you might ask? Well, you know, why wouldn't you want them on your character? Of course I want them on my character. I want them on every character, but, well, if you have them on your character, you know, because, you know, these two do. Well, you do, really. Yeah. Alright, so how about we just go ahead and enter the boss fight. A sense of foreboding pervades the area. Open the door. Let's do it. So that's different from just the regular, I think it's Gyukis that we find around the area. Feeling dizzy. And if you listen, and you see, it's Demi Fiend from Nocturne, and he's using Gaia Rage. How cool is that? You know, it's awesome. He's got Gaia Rage, use some spells from Nocturne. Yeah, so if you go into this fight with any nullifying nullifying, draining, or repelling spells, then Demi Fiend just uses Gaia Rage, which is essentially a nuke button, and says that is a clock. No, he says, fight fair. Or what his definition of fair is, which is not very, if I'm honest. Now, a lot of people say for this fight that you really should go noise grinding, you know, and max out your stats, but it isn't necessary because, well, it slightly improves your chances, and why I say chances is because this fight is luck based, entirely luck based, just about. So there's a specific strategy that I'm going to be following called the Red Star strategy, named after the GameFAQs user who somewhat invented the strategy. And that is really the only, it's not even reliable, but the closest thing you get to reliable, or a reliable way to finish this fight. Because, oh my god, this is so ridiculous. I'll be honest, it's not a good fight. It's not a well-designed fight, you know, because he essentially cancels you out of having your great abilities that you grinded for so long just to get. He says, no, you can't use those, which is stupid, but whatever, I suppose. Alright, so here's the loadout that we've got here. We've got Surf with Ragnarok, Last Word, Salvation, Dekunda, Null Critical. Null Critical doesn't nullify critical, but instead it just reduces the chances of it, and you really, really want this. You really just don't want to be hit by critical attacks. What else we got? Life Surge, just to get health up to 999, which is very, very almost necessary because you know this boss hurts. He really hurts, and the more health you have, the better. And I wasn't going to grind HP datas in order to max out Surf's HP because that's just not necessary. And don't worry about maxing out MP at all. That's just not necessary either. What else we got? Null Sleep. Okay, so in order to have a pretty reliable way of getting through a certain phase of this fight or a certain section of this fight, you really want Null Sleep, which doesn't nullify sleep, as it would say, but allows evasion of enemy attacks while asleep. What that means is that while you're asleep, you can't get hit. You will always dodge, which is odd, but sure. If you're asleep, you will always dodge, and that's super, super necessary for a certain part of the fight. And Death Resist, because we can't have Null Death, so we just have to have Death Resist. Gale essentially has the same stuff, except he has Recalmdra, which is... that's counted as a magic spell, right? Yeah, despite it using HP. Which is... it kills the user, except it revives the other two if they're down, and maxes out their HP and MP. So it's pretty useful for this fight. It's very situational in other fights, but in this fight it's pretty good. Sukukaja, because we do want a buff going into this fight on one of our characters, just for a specific strategy that we can use later. Cielo, we have... do we have anything new? Debilitate. Yeah, we want Debilitate. We need to at least have some sort of debuff. You know, Debilitate would absolutely be the best and is the best to use. So make sure that you have Debilitate. Alright, well, let's give this a serious attempt now. So bring it on, Demi Fiend. So he will always go first in battle. And if he doesn't use Gaia Rage first, that means that you've, you know, gotten past all this successfully. So Javelin Rain, or Jala Rain as I like to call it, has a chance of muting. His Grimakala likes to use Mamudo Own, which has a chance of killing. That's why I want Death Resist. Demon Rage from Kukulane isn't really a big deal. And Heat Wave. Oh, that actually wasn't too bad of a turn, if I'm honest. Alright, so most of this fight is just recovering from the damage that Demi Fiend does to you. However, if you get a decently free turn like I just got, which is I'm very grateful for, then go ahead and use it to attack. So I'm going to use Ragnarok here and hope it doesn't miss. Obviously Surf won't do much physical damage because of his 7 in his strength stat. So I'm going to use Gale to use Ragnarok most of the time, and Salvation. You need Salvation for this fight because it's Madeira Rahan plus it cures all status ailments. Yeah, so if he gets crits, which he will often do, that's terrible. That really sucks. And if Kukulkan uses Taunt, which is also pretty bad, that lowers our defense by 2 stages. Oh, that sucks. So we need to use Dekunda to get rid of that. Actually, I think I'll Salvation, then Ragnarok with Gale, and then pass Dekunda, because first you need Dekunda to get through this fight. Essentially, you need to get rid of the debuffs. Yeah, I'll Salvation because I need to get rid of that stun, so that way Gale can actually hit these guys. Ragnarok, and you have Dekunda Cielo. Okay, so you really do want Cielo for this fight because he's weak to elements, and I'll explain that if we get to it. When he crits, it sucks. And he will do so often. The higher your luck stat, the better. Because that just means he's going to crit less often. So, yeah, okay. And Mamudo One just sucks. It just sucks, because that'll happen. Alright. So we haven't been taunted, I don't think. No, we're fine. Okay, so this is why you want the Revival Orb, because it's Summer Recalm in a box, but infinite use. So that's always a pleasure. Let's Salvation here. And let's see if we can survive this next turn. Jalarain is arguably the worst to be hit by. Just because it can mute, and when you're muted you can't use Salvation. So, and if all 3 get muted, that just sucks. So, okay. So why don't we pass Ragnarok. Is it worth... Okay. Yeah, I might as well just dismute. Yeah, I've stocked up on items if you couldn't tell. Dismute Salvation. Okay. Next turn. This is such a stressful fight. Every turn is just... Am I going to do well this turn? Am I going to survive? Okay. Because whenever Grimkala uses Mamudo on, it's still... Death Resist does make it somewhat bearable. You will survive most of the time, but it's still, it's still not fun. It's still not fun to deal with. Salvation just so Gal has a bit of health to use Ragnarok here. And okay, so the reason that I'm not really using Debilitate often is because it's essentially just a waste of a turn, because if you use Debilitate, then Kukulkan's just going to use Dekunda, and they get 4 press turns so they can do whatever they want. Heatwave, is that the one that has a high chance of critting? I mean, they all have a high chance of critting as far as I'm concerned, but as far as the official description, I'm not sure. Cielo got killed there. And Heatwave again, okay. So yeah, unfortunately we just have to try and bounce back this turn. So Revival Orb, Salvation. Kukulkan hasn't been using Taunt very often, which is fine by me, because the less we have to use Dekunda, the better. Ooh, okay, well when Demi Fiend goes for a straight attack, that's super, super lucky. That's really good. Wow, that was an amazing turn. Wow, that was really good. See, the other two, Grimacala and Kukulkan, they do pose somewhat of a threat, but it's really Demi Fiend that you gotta worry about. you know, because he's the king, as far as we're concerned. Alright, so I should have enough for another Ragnarok here. Okay, so honestly, I want to be a little careful when using Ragnarok, because Kukulane has less health than Grimmakala does, but I want both of them to die at the same time. That's for a very specific reason that I'll get into later. So, alright, let's see here. It's always CLO. And Jalarain. He starts critting, that's just... Oh, and the defense is lower, that's fantastic. Actually, I could Recalmdra with Gal here. Just so only one per... Yeah, okay, that's what I'll do. I'm gonna... yeah, I'll Recalmdra. So that way Gal will die, but... what's the name? He'll lose the debuffs. Now Surf is the only one who's debuffed, so that way we can revive Gale and be ready for this next turn of hell. Zero's beat isn't exactly fun to be hit by just because it stuns. Kaja. Now the reason that Grimmakala uses Dekaja is because Taunt raises your attack by 2 stages. So obviously he's going to go, hang on a minute, I don't like that. So let's go Salvation. Salvation, then I should be able to Ragnarok. Okay, I'm just gonna have to Ragnarok again. And hope that they both... Actually, no, I won't. I won't Ragnarok. I'll just... No, we didn't Dekunda, so let's Dekunda. Because I don't think Surf would be able to kill them, and I need both of them to die at the same time. Demi Fiend will obviously live, because Demi Fiend cannot die. But, you know, I need both of them to die for this strategy to hopefully work. Jalarain. Okay, no one's muted, that's always good. Let's Salvation, so that way Gal has enough HP to use Ragnarok. Ragnarok. Okay, now I need to pass last word Grimmakala. Now this is where it all comes down to. So Grimmakala will die here. There's no worries there. Now, okay, so he's gonna summon Pixie. Now I need Pixie to use Dormina and affect one of us. Well, we just lost the fight. Sorry about that, guys, I'm back. Because we need to be hit by Null Sleep. Because for every 3rd demon that Demi Fiend gets onto, he will use Gaia Rage and Nuka Assault. So we actually can't win here. we needed someone to be hit by Null Sleep, and no one did. So how about Demi Fiend? Go for him. Yeah, there is no way that we can actually win this fight now, because he's just gonna Gaia Rage. So there is one way to circumvent that, is you could put Close Call on your characters, which I find Close Call to be really annoying though, because what it does is it takes you out of your demon form and into your human form, and it just makes it so that you have to waste turns going back into your demon form while trying to heal, and it's just really painful. And plus, you could waste your Close Call by dying earlier in the fight. So again, all luck based. I'll see you guys back at the fight. Alright, round 2. Let's see how things go this time. Jalarain, not a great thing to start off with, especially the crits. Yikes, this is already terrible. Yeah. Wow, yeah, this is awful. Kukulane actually didn't do too much damage there. Interesting. Yeah, wow, this isn't good so far. We just have to... Oh my god. Wow. Okay, that was... one of the worst first turns I've had. It's Recalmdra. So yeah, if you're down to one party member, just Recalmdra. Just so that way you get 2 up. And we're taunted. That's fantastic. Jalarain. Mute Surf. That's exactly what I want. And taunt. Okay, we need to heal and revive CLR. But we also need to Dekunda. So that sucks. I'm going to Recalmdra. Again. And then just bring up Gale. So that way everyone's up, at least. Okay, but yeah, this first part of the fight is the worst. Just because you have to deal with, you know, so many things, you know, just so many unlucky things constantly happening, you know, all these physical spells. We're gonna survive. Nope. Surf's dead, and we're both muted. Oh my god! And if you're muted, you can't use Recalmdra. What? This fight sucks. Oh my god. Alright, so before I go into the fight this time, I'm actually going to change Argilla and heat spells a bit. So first of all, I need to get rid of Repel Element for Life Surge. That's... Really? That actually didn't give... Huh, well I guess I'll give you Life Gain as well then. Odd. So I want you to have 999 health. I'm just going to outfit these guys not to actually attack or even be supportive members, but just to be backup. I'm going to give them Close Call. Just so that way, and Fizz Resist. Wait, can we use Fizz Resist? You know what, Surf, you don't need Ragnarok because you just do piss poor damage with it anyway. So yeah, you can have that. The other two are fine. Let's give you Fizz Resist Heat. Where is it? I'm gonna find it, damn it. I've already got it on. No, I haven't. Here it is. Okay. Insatiable. Whatever. We don't need that. And Null Sleep, I guess. Actually, no. I do want Mutual Karma on you for one specific reason, because when we win this fight, one day, we'll get you know, heat to level 99, and everyone will be level 99, so that'll be neat. And Death Resist. Okay. So I want Argilla to have essentially the same moveset, just in case I need to switch in either of them. You know? For one reason or another. I'm gonna have to... I should have done this back at the terminal so I could save over it, damn it. Null Critical, Close Call, Fizz Resist... Null Sleep. Do you have Death Resist? I went past it. Death Resist. Okay. And that's it, really. Well, actually, I should probably give you Recalmdra. Yeah, just in case. I'm gonna have to redo these moves because you know, maybe I won't be pessimistic, but you know, there's a likely I won't survive this run around, and I don't really need Null Sleep. That's not true. Yes, I do. I don't really need Death Resist, if I'm honest. So yeah, these two got, or Heat got Celestial Ray and Fire Sinai. If you saw at the beginning of the recording session, they maxed out, or Heat maxed out all the mantras, which is neat. I'm looking for Recalmdra. Yeah, hi. I'm looking for Ricandra. Is he here? Alright, so let's try this again. I'm gonna have to reset all those spells. Great. Well, round 3. First round actually went pretty decently. Round 2 was the opposite of that. Let's see how this round goes. Zero speed. Mamudo on. If that Mamudo on hits anyone at the first part of the fight, it's really just it's such a demoralizer. It's like, oh well, now the fight feels like it's forfeited. Alright, so let's Salvation here. Let's Ragnarok because we can. And I guess we'll Salvation again. Alright, so I'm not entirely sure how much health Kukulane and Grimacala have. Jalarain. Jalarain's the worst. Ah, that sucks. That really sucks. And we're taunted. That's fantastic. Okay, he just went for a physical attack though, so that could be worse. And Dikasha, that's fine. Okay. So we need to, first of all, we need to Salvation Dikunda. And yeah, we can play risky. Let's just pass Ragnarok. Alright, Serif's beat. Yeah, that sucks. Also, if you notice, it's playing Normal Battle from Nocturne. I forgot to mention that, but the song is neat. That's what I meant to say. Jalarain. Okay. Taunt, alright. Not too bad, not too bad. Salvation, just as if everyone gets muted, it's just uncomfortable, you know? And especially if 2 people are muted and 1 person's dead, that's just super annoying. Ragnarok. We didn't do Kunda. Let's do Kunda. Alright. Yeah, getting rid of Dikunda is usually the most important thing. Essentially because if you can't survive the next turn to get everyone back up, then what's the point? Okay, Heat Wave. Alright. So, I guess we can just repeat last turn. It is a little risky, you know, just going on... What am I trying to say? Or going with Gal having 650 health. It is pretty risky, but I don't know. It could be worse. I don't think he taunted that entire turn, so let's just Salvation. If he did, well, I can verify by checking these damage numbers. Heat Wave. No, he didn't. Okay, good. Ooh, and Cielo Dodge. That's fantastic. When you dodge, it's rare, but when you do, it feels so good. Alright, taunt. Could be worse. So let's Dikunda. Ragnarok. And yeah, because he never Dikasha, did he? Well, Grimacala never got to Dikasha. So it's Salvation. Alright. Zero's beat. Could be worse. If all of us are stunned, that's fine, because the first person can just Salvation. Wave. That sucks. Because yeah, now he gets another chance to Mamudo on. Okay. We do need to Dikunda. It's Ragnarok. Okay. Kukline's close to death. Alright. So it's Salvation. Zero's beat. Alright. Kunda, I'm very tense here because what's the name? We have another chance at the second half of the fight. This is essentially the first half, and the second half is where Pixie is introduced. Although the fight does go on longer, but most of all, you need Pixie alive. You need Pixie to stay alive. Always. You need her alive. And she doesn't do that for very long, so gotta be careful. Ragnarok. And we didn't decunda, so let's do that. Okay, yeah. He did use taunt. After I used that decunda, I went, did he actually use taunt? Oh, yeah, he did, thank God. And back to Demi Fiend, Heat Wave. Okay, good. It's just you really have to hope he doesn't crit, because if he crits, it's the worst. It is the worst. Okay. So now so this is where it all comes down to. Ragnarok. Pass. Last word. Alright. So he's going to summon Pixie, she's going to use Dormina. Hopefully one of us gets hit by it. Please. No. Well, that sucks. This fight is forfeit now. Got to actually. Oh, well, never mind. I was gonna put in Heat and Argilla and see if we could survive that way, but I forgot about that. Oh, that was my mistake. You can dodge Gaia Rage rarely, very, very rarely. So I'll see you guys back here.